Welcome back, it's Zion from Uke on Demand, and this week we're teaching a beautiful and short piece by Tárrega. We'll be going over the first part of the song in this video, but you can get the full tutorial and all the tabs for both low G and high G ukuleles at ukeondemand.com. So to begin, we'll be starting out in a bar G chord up here, and I'll play through this bar on the screen once very quickly, just so you can hear how it goes one more time. And to play that part, again, doing a bar G chord up here, all that is, you're going to have your index finger barring the 11th fret of the A string and the E string. So it's not a full bar, just a partial bar. And you'll have your middle finger on the 11th fret of the C. And you're going to strum that whole chord once. This position's a little tricky for you to get into. You can simplify it down. You can just pick the 10th fret of A with the open G string, so you're just pinching those two outer strings. And you can start that way instead. It won't sound as full, but it's definitely a lot easier, whichever way you choose. After that, we're coming up and picking the 12th fret of the A, then the 14th fret. From there, we're going to drop back down to the 12th fret, and we're going to strum again. If you're using a low G ukulele, we'll strum the C, E, and A string, like that. Or if you're using a high G ukulele, you'll strum all the strings. And the reason why that is, that low G string, which is an octave lower than everything else, or than a typical high G tuning, it will sort of take over the note, because it's so low and kind of louder than everything else. But with a high G ukulele, since that G note is an octave higher, it will blend in a little more nicely. Whichever way you choose to do it, we're going to drop down into the 10th fret of A, followed by the 7th fret. And then we're coming down into a G5 chord, and that's just the index finger on the 2nd fret of C, middle finger on the 3rd fret of E, and pinky on the 5th fret of A. And you strum that chord once, leaving the chord there. Just pick the 5th fret of A twice more. And then we're going to pivot into a D7, so just like that. You're going to be barring the 2nd fret with your index finger, and you also have your middle finger on the 3rd fret of this A, just like that. The full bar is a little tricky. Remember, you do want your thumb right behind that bar, which will allow for the most squeezing power. And if you're still having a little trouble with that bar, there are two other tricks you can do to make it a little easier. You can do a double bar like this. It's not the best option because you want as many fingers as free as possible, and you want to develop the strength in one finger. But if you need to in a pinch, it's okay. You can lay your index finger down and then your middle finger on top, and then have your ring finger on the 3rd fret of A. And some of my students find that a little bit easier. Again, it's not a good option. You want to do it with just one, but again, if you need to do it in a pinch, it's totally fine. The other option is to start removing strings. So you can bring it down, so you're just doing a partial bar, say on the bottom 3 strings, and if you skip that top string, if you skip that G and just play what your fingers are on, that'll make it a little bit easier. You can even go one more. So you're just picking 2 strings, the 2nd fret of E and 3rd fret of A. And as long as you don't pick the strings you're taking your fingers off of, you'll be just fine. Whichever way you choose, after you pick those notes, we're going to slide down to the 2nd fret of A. And then from there, we're going to just pick open A. Now we're going to move into an E minor chord, but we're not going to strum the full chord. Instead, you'll have your ring finger on the 4th fret of C, ring finger on the 3rd fret of E, but you don't need your index finger on the 2nd fret of A. And that's because we're going to be needing to pick that open A string in just a second. So here, just go ahead and strum your top 3 strings. So it should be open, 4th, and the 3rd. Just like that. Once you've done that, pick the A string by itself. And then pick, of course, you've left your fingers there, pick the E string. Take your fingers off and pick the C string and the E string together. Then pick 2nd fret of E and 3rd fret of E. So let's put all that, we've reached the end of the bar. We'll go back to the beginning and play it together very slowly. And that's how to play the first bar. Again, to get the full tutorial and all the tabs, head over to ukeondemand.com. And don't forget to subscribe below so you don't miss our upcoming fingerstyle songs. We'll see you next time.